right into some games, huh? We've been doing a ton of historic, but I want to touch some standard here still too. Standard's been pretty reasonable format overall, almost just as much, if not more varied than historic at the competitive level, I think. So we've got some giants here. There's a number of payoffs in the current standard format for being in a bunch of giants, and I think Glimpse of the Cosmos is actually low-key the best one. So look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one into your hand, and then if you have a giant, you can flash this back out of your graveyard for 1. So very powerful card selection tool that we have here. We also have Invasion of the Giants as a scry 2. Then it draws a card and deals some damage, and then it makes your next giant spell a little bit cheaper to cast, so it kind of generates some tempo for you. It's kind of like you're paying for the giant up front in a way. You're like paying 2 mana for it on 2, and getting a scry and a draw, and then getting that mana back a couple of turns down the line. And then our other giant payoff here is Battle of Frost and Fire. Deals 4 damage to every non-giant creature. Then scries 3. And then the last line of text here isn't one we're going to be triggering super often. Whenever you cast a spell with converted mana cost 5 or greater, draw 2, discard 1. So not a ton of 5+ cost spells. I guess Shatterskull Smashing technically counts for that. Something that's kind of cute here is that Mecha Godzilla, the weapon here, Crystalline Giant, is a giant. So we have a colorless giant. We've got Bonecrusher, we've got Calamity Bearer and Tectonic Giant, and a couple of Quakebringers here at the top end. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see if this is more meme or dream in the current standard format, huh? I would love to play first. Thank you for asking. How's Oberton yesterday? It was fine, but I don't think we're going to do it. We're going to do it again. I don't think it really makes for a very good stream game. It's more like an interactive book in a way than a video game. There's like a murder mystery detective part that you get into at the end, and I don't even know really that I'm super into that part of it personally too. Alright, chat, I've been caught with my hand in the cookie jar. If we hit the second land, the invasions were gonna like guarantee we drew lands 3-4, but believe it or not, this is the part where the Rune Crab mills like 6 lands for us, right? Feels magic, man. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. I don't really want to play against rogues anyways, right? Rogue sucks to play against. Pretty easy. Pretty easy mulligan on the matchup. Yeah, life's a lot happier when you don't play against matches that feel miserable. Games are fun, chat. Skip the matches that aren't fun. Nobody got time for that. My number one question about Magic Legends that nobody seems to be able to give me a straight answer on, not even people that played it yesterday because it's just in beta and they didn't spend money, is how do they take my money is an important question about whether or not I'm interested in playing a non-Magic card game. Or a non-card game. Like there's so many good games out there. Hey, Golgari, thanks for the sub gift. Good morning. That's like I have a hard time justifying like getting into a game if the monetization's gonna suck these days. It's like I've got a giant list of video games. No, it's not a pay. It's a freemium microtransactions game. Squash is probably pretty good here, huh? I don't know how Magic Legends specifically works, but the developer working on it is known to create pay-to-win hell games. Yeah, that's what I'm told. Bob, Ranting Bob was in here yesterday, and he works in the games industry, and he said they do not have a good track record with monetization, the company that makes that game. Visionary. That's an interesting one. Tectonic Giant's a nice one. Either pressures our opponent more quickly or draws us cards. And with the Calamity Bearer here, double it up. Damage is going to close out real fast. Luca.
Surround me.
I think we're dead, chat. Yeah, alright. That'll do, pig. Okay, so shock sounds great. Squash is probably pretty good too. Squash could actually kill Coma at end of turn after they make it before they get to untap with it. Negate's probably fine here. I'm gonna trim Quakebringer, seems a little bit slow. The spot removal is good in general too, because like if they play Luca and they down tick on something, we can kill it in response to deny them getting their Coma. I mean, it isn't even just about being a Diablo style click fest either. Because like the other part of it too is like if the monetization in Magic Legends isn't good, I'd much rather just like wait and play the Diablo 2 remaster that's coming up, because like I know the Diablo 2 remaster will be good, and it will just be I pay a small amount of money and get a full game for not even for free. Not even for free. I pay a set amount of money and get a full game. Bottom of the lane will take a glimpse here. Yeah, that's the thing on that one is, you know, what's the Blizzard's track record with remasters isn't necessarily stellar. And now everything is a subscription. That's really not true. Maybe all of the games that you personally have been looking at are subscriptions, but like there's a ton of great games out there that are very much not subscription based. And I'd encourage you to look a little deeper. More of a PC player. I mean, a lot of the games that I've played recently are available on PC as well. So I want to get Tech Giant going. I feel like I want to get Mecha Godzilla down here because it can start acquiring it can start acquiring different counters on it. Shock technically interacts with their combo. Squash sounds great too in case they have one of their threats just drawn. very menacing, chat. I mean, it is a Mecha Godzilla. Looks menacing. Good morning, Ray. Thanks for the follow. Well, shit. Cause I missed my menacing giant, chat. This is the part where they play Luca, and then I'm forced to kill my own Crystalline Giant. I'm gonna kill this, so that way they don't force a trade on my Crystalline Giant here. Because they didn't attack with this, because they wanted to force me to trade. This is just the 7th mana turn. Yeah, it's a pretty big mistake. Yikes. Okay, if this finds one of our other squashes, we can Dragonfire that and then squash that. Sure. Alright, rooted. It's rough. I think we probably could have won this game if I would have had the foresight to shock their ramp dork before the coma came down. There's no point in attacking with the giant. Oh, I could have had 2 shots to draw the thing, right? You're right. Okay, I'm wrong. You're right. We had 2 more shots to squash there, technically. 67%. I can only assume our opponent's playing some kind of meme. I think that's the lowest percent I've ever seen. What's going on, Bill Kitten? Thanks for the 18 months. Welcome back. Well, they're playing green-black elves. I think that qualifies as a meme. We definitely want to squash the triple ramp dork here. We'll play another Bonecrusher out. I want the extra blue mana here, actually, because Glimpse is going to be 2 when we play it and flash it back. Elf you control attacks this turn. Target creature opponent controls get -1/-1. The mecha. I guess it's a little redundant when there's scry 2 and then scry 1. Guess we can be a little aggressive about putting bad cards in the bottom here. Although both of these actually seem fine, huh? Yeah, no collecting company here. Creature decks without Coco. I'm at 20. Maybe I should just attack with these. Excuse me. Get a 1/1. Get a 1/1 green elf warrior for each elf you control. Man, this card really isn't, this card really isn't Shaman of the Pack, huh? Things this one is not Shaman of the Pack. I guess I technically should have revealed this one if I was playing it. Hey, Alanin, thanks for the 23 months. Welcome back. I'm gonna be honest, I've never read this card before. And by that, I mean I skimmed it during spoiler season and wrote it off and had since forgotten about it. If they have some runners here with these, we could definitely die. This is a drain 4. Calamity Bearer is going to close pretty quickly though, which is nice. This doubles our Giant's damage. And honestly, I think we just like 6 them. Yeah, it's a real shame. It's a real shame they didn't just take some stats off of this card and like make it a 3-drop so you could play it with Company in Historic or Modern. This is like a 2/3 or a 2/4 as a 3-drop. It'd be super playable in Elves and Historic. Oh, yeah, I missed a counter on this. That's whatever. Okay, this is start of combat. I feel like using Squash on an elf is very flavorful. I mean, 12 on a trigger is pretty good. is probably a crush the week matchup, huh? Is it? I mean, kind of have a ton of removal in my main deck. I don't really have a deck queue anymore. Dontron. With the I increased the price on deck submissions when I came back to Magic, so the things that get submitted get played basically right away. I have Jim's Elemental deck loaded up in my deck editor, and I'll probably put it up for deck voting at some point this week. Drop Shock and put in Crush. Yeah, it's probably better. They have the elf card that like goes super wide. Honestly, is Shock better than Scorching Dragonfire? They didn't have that many X3s, right? I guess the Lord is a 3/3. I'll go either way on that squash. Like, obviously, we want a 4th land, but, like, Invasion of the Giants probably propels us to a 4th land as well. I think that one's got to go. I think I can afford to give them a turn with that one. Goes a little bit too wide. Yeah, maybe the Invasion of the Giants should have just been Shocks. It's definitely tough to find a spot on curve to play it. I guess this is as good as a spot as any. Yeah, I was surprised. I just assumed when I initially read the Collected Conjured spoiler that, like, it was sorcery too. It was instant sorcery, and then it turns out it's not. That's one of those things where I look at the design and I'm like, man, this card already struggles to be playable. Why would you hamstring it further? So we're hoping to draw one of our two sweepers here. Got 2 shots at those. It's gonna make all their things bigger next turn, right? Taking the land. Let's crunch this one. So next turn we can play like Tectonic plus Bonecrusher. More in an MRP. It's for the 2.5 years. It's a long time. That's my plan. Let's go Tech Giant into Bonecrusher Giant. Get some defense down here. I guess the 3rd chapter. Maybe because of the 3rd chapter and their ability to show us flash things. I guess we hadn't seen Wildborn Preserver yet. Maybe it was more correct to just like play 1 giant and hold up squash here. Yeah, wow, that's actually lethal. Sick. Yeah, we got elves for sure. Yeah, I think I want the shocks in my deck as opposed to the invasions of the giants here. I think that was a mistake on my part. If the invasion we had drawn that game had been a shock, we would have likely won. Would have been able to keep their board in check a lot easier. A little bit of a misassessment on how wide they were going. Huh. Gotta be a mulligan, just doesn't do anything. Aegean's great. I keep that on top. Obviously, we need to draw a fourth land, but... Oh shit, it does have Foretell. It's kind of funny. I think I just do this now. And obviously I should have 2 more mana up to hold up one of these here if I'd have foretold this last turn like I should have. Believe it or not, that's the first time I've cast that card. The Mecha Godzilla's gearing up here, chat. It's ready for you. Harold! We gotta unite the elves, Harold! Huh? I feel like I need to kill the Wildborn Preserver here, otherwise it's gonna get out of hand. I guess I could try and keep their board small enough that they just can't kill this when they attack with this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stomp the War Master here, actually. So they're playing this out as a third elf, so that way they can attack and kill my Crystalline Giant next turn. We got Lifelink and Death Touch on my Mecha Godzilla here. It's collecting lasers, chat. Yeah, so let's Scorching Dragonfire this, so that way their third chapter is unable to kill this. So every time an elf attacks this turn, they can give something -1/-1. Easy trade here. Hey, Vit. Thanks for the Prime support. There's a lot of great people you can send that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it this way this month and keeping me around. Good morning, good morning. Thanks for the follow. I do this, even if I miss on a land, I could Bonecrusher Giant. Sweet, we hit the land, so you get to do this, then do this. Let's close this out real quick here. It occurs to me that Crystalline Giant in Paper Magic is kind of pain to play. Yeah, having to like keep a list of what all you have going on sounds not great. It's a shame this isn't a giant source, huh? Oh, we have lethal here, right? Because we do this, and then we squash this. Calamity and Tech Giant like close out genuinely quickly. Just like two turns there, just like crunch. Yeah, Squash is like a genuinely good stat line for what you're putting in and what you're getting out, right? Like two mana hit target thing for 6, and it's planeswalkers too, which is nice. Yeah, Tech Giant really feels like a card that just got power crept out of the format, right? Like I feel like there's a lot of other formats where this card would just be super duper playable. And this format is really just not one of them. Like, the fact that, like, this card technically draws you a card when it dies, right? Like, if your opponent targets it with something and kills it, it draws a card for you. And that's just, like, not quite good enough compared to, like, the other value engines that exist in Standard currently in a lot of situations. Giant Killer into Skews. Interesting. It's a good Jund deck in my opinion. Jund Storm Herald would be my number one Jund deck in the format for sure. The MTG gets so out of hand with text lines. Magic's not out of hand with text lines. Come on now, gotta play some Yu-Gi-Oh! You want to see out of hand with text lines? Ain't seen nothing yet. You think Magic text lines are out of hand? My kids were watching a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh on Netflix, and someone that watched the stream sent me a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh bulk for them to be able to play with. And man, those cards are like word soup. Hey, and there's Calamity Bringer again. I think we're keeping that, huh? Sounds great. You don't assemble Exodia anymore, you publish a dissertation. Just play Quakebringer because it's the biggest one. I remember this card has Foretell too. I think we just do this, right? Is it worth playing Tech? Yeah, I mean, I don't think you play around the card they've already played a bunch of copies of. Goodbye, friends. probably a Crush the Weak shock matchup. Trim at least one of the squashes we're bringing in. Seems like they have a lot of smaller creatures. Like trimming around the edges here. Is Mecha Godzilla worse than my more powerful ones, maybe? They don't seem like they're super aggressive. That's the case. I'd rather keep the Quakebringers and trim these. Let's try that. They probably have Love Struck Beast. That's a good point. That's a good point. So maybe Squash is better than Scorching Dragonfire. Love Struck Beast is a good point. Green Adventures 100% on Love Struck Beast. Toski's a card that's probably pretty tough for us to deal with. We don't have any Soul Sears in our 75. Fred the Third, thank you for the 2.5 years. Good morning, and welcome back. I'm on the Tech Giant for now. Let's keep all our interaction on the draw. Ryoshun, good morning. Temple is perfect here. Get our scry on. Like I'm not really gonna have a window to play that. I'm probably like stomping things for the rest of eternity here. And like in the event that we're not stomping something, we have Glimpse of the Cosmos to get a little card selection going. Morning, Brasky. Definitely happy to just step on this first. We don't want to step on the Sentinel and then have them make the ooze get out of stomp range on us. That one's definitely gotta go. Yeah, Shatterskull's real good. If they go land Toski here, we could be in trouble. I feel like with the Glimpse, we could probably grind through a draw for here of Scalds. Yeah, Toski's pretty scary. It's a lot of card advantage. So, again, a question that always comes up with newer players is if the creature be dealt damage, exile it clause does not beat Indestructible. So indestructible creatures simply don't die. So this does not beat the Toskis with the Mostis here. It can, however, clean up the rest of their board potentially. Yeah, that giant killer there, honestly, is probably lights out. The Toski's gonna have drawn 3 cards now, which is just a lot of cards. I have a hard time keeping up with that. We have 0 answers to Toski in our 75. The illusion of choice. Hey, we'll make Toski only draw 1 more card. Yeah, another giant killer in exile. Wrap it up for sure. Yeah, I don't really think I think no answers to Toski is fine, and yeah, the one card you could play in this archetype that's an answer to Toski, you don't really need in other matchups. Like Soul Sear is like the default red answer to indestructible things, and normally you'd play that because it like kills Stroke Kit at Toski. Toski can't be countered, chat. Damn it, Twitch chat. So like Soul Sear is a card that like kills large creatures in Soul Sear kills large creatures in red, but our deck is already playing Squash to kill large creatures inside of red. So like we fill the role that you would generally want that type of card to have. Aether Gust is not standard legal. Yeah, you could play really shit tier cards like Swords to Ravens, but rather than playing a god-awful card, I'd rather just put good cards in my deck, so... Big pass on playing a god-awful card like Swords to Ravens. Like, the only reason to play that kind of card is if you can't have, like, you'd play Soul Sear or something like Shredded Sails to kill artifacts before then. Is Shadow Spear still standard legal? Yeah, I think that's honestly, Shadow Spear is probably the best suggestion I've heard on it, chat. Shadow Spear is a card that can be good against red aggro, and it fills a role that we don't already fill when being able to gain life. It's pretty sweet. Force a jump block. Or you could not block and die because you don't know what my card does. Yeah, that works too. See, chat, I think that plan for beating Toski is probably... See, this chat, this is why you play garbage cards like Giants, because your opponent just doesn't block, and then your Calamity Bearer kills them. Dr. Fire Farts with the brand new Prime support. I hope you see a doctor and work that out, because I think Fire Farts are a sign of some other serious problem. Thanks for the Bezo bucks, though. I appreciate that. Good morning. Thanks for the follow, Arsone. It's not garbage, it's super... I mean, to be fair, Calamity Bearer with Tectonic Giant's been aces so far. Like, that card kills people really quickly. Like, 6 damage on... A 6 unblockable damage on that trigger is huge. I'm gonna be honest, I thought this was the other Giant saga at a glance when I clicked keep. I was elected to lead, not to read. Oh, I didn't mean to emote. I keep doing that. So they changed it. It used to be when you had emotes disabled, you couldn't click on your own thing to bring up emotes. And I like, you know, just twitchily click on the board constantly, and I keep ending up clicking on this and randomly clicking emotes. My mistake. Perfect! I knew the Invasion of Giants was on top of my deck, which made this hand a very reasonable keep. It's all about the foresight, chip. Honestly, I think we keep that one. Just keep digging. Scry me a river, baby. Some Marduki on the other side of the table here. Scorching Dragonfire, looking pretty good. Oh, yeah, I can just get rid of this, my friend. I'm excited to play with these blue-red Giants cards when rotation happens in the fall. I don't know that this deck that we're currently playing is necessarily competitive in this current standard format for the most part, but there's definitely a really neat core here that I feel like once the power level goes down a little bit, it's gonna be quite sweet. I mean, to be fair, not every deck that I pick out, Alec, is guaranteed to be good. We play plenty of stinkers that I build or think about here. And Jack, thank you for the very generous tier 2 sub and for the 33 months. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Grindel, thanks for the 6 months. This one's playing like red, white, or red, black splash skulls. Yeah, if you look at the stream title, Doctor, it can be, sometimes it gets cut off on mobile. We're gonna do historic after this deck. Usually I try and put the formats and sometimes decks that we're gonna play on a given day in the stream title. So I'm gonna decline to play Mecha Godzilla because they have claimed the Firstborn plus Village rights. Heads up here from the showdown. Yeah, no problem. Any other control decks anyone suggests that are good? You're talking about standard, I imagine. Vit 2 standard. Yep. Sultai Ultimatum's kind of the de facto control deck. If you're looking for something that's a little bit tap outy and not a combo control deck like that, we've played a little bit of Jund and 4-color control on the stream in the past. You can find some videos of that up on my YouTube channel with some different builds. They play like binding the old gods. They ramp up into Ugin at the top end. They play Valky as their other finisher. To be fair, my stutter there was more my brain frying itself midway trying to pronounce that username more than anything. All right, let's go ahead and squash the dragon. Beauty dragon. Oh, I'm so dumb. They have Sajiri Shelter, heads up. Listen, chat, it's early. This is a free roll for them too. Actually, honestly, because of the showdown and these going away, that's actually a really big mistake because they might have played that proactively just to get the counter. We could die here, right? I could like double this attack and then swing. I think the blue-black mutate deck is like reasonably competitive. We've played that a number of times on stream. I think it's pretty reasonable. If you have absolutely nothing, it's usually between $100 and $150 to build a 3-color deck on Magic Arena. You said you played 2 years ago, so if you have Shocklands already and you're looking to build it in Historic, it'll probably be less than that. I'd bet under $100 if you have a set of Shocklands for the mana base. Man, it's a shame that we didn't draw a land here, because if we would have drawn a land, this could have found Calamity and cast it this turn. Honestly, I think I just take this Shatterskull Smashing here, because we're going to get to attack them. This can't block, right? Yeah, we're going to attack them for 5 down to 2, and then, I basically just want to make sure I don't die next turn. Actually, I'm going to flash this back, because if we hit an untapped land, we can still kill this, and we can hit a squash to kill the dragon. So we hit the untapped land, so that's fine. Oh yeah, Bonecrusher would have been a lethal hit there too. Wasn't even thinking about that one. Yeah, definitely right to glimpse there. There's a good chance we die next turn. The opponent's archetype is basically a combo deck, so they're playing things that let them double the power of this Goldspan Dragon. So definitely a combination of cards here that kills us before the Quakebringer can finish them. We do not do a Google search. There's definitely a 3-pack code for every Sudden Arena though. So if you're new to Arena, a couple people in chat mentioned that today. There's a code that you can get to get 3 packs out of each set. Like play some word related to the set name for each of them. Our opponent's in the tank here, so either they're bad at counting with their deck or we're not dead, so that's nice. If they can't kill the Quakebringer here, they die. If they do kill the Quakebringer, we have Bonecrusher Giant as a lethal draw next turn. Except for Kaladesh, which is Kaladesh. Really? Could be dead here. Dead to a stomp. Yep. God, Claim the Firstborn is such an offensive card. It just does way too much for what its casting cost is. Just does so much. Bring in Strokes for their dragons and their, what's it called? Actually, Battle of Frost and Fury. Frost and Fires. Probably pretty bad here too, huh? Ever another 1 mana, I take your thing? No, it's the most push version of that effect that's ever been printed. Maybe I do leave Mecha in. This can randomly gain hexproof. None of these other cards sound super exciting. I guess Crush the Weak exiles their idiot. Yeah, like, an effect, so Claim the Firstborn's supposed to have the downside of, you know, it only grabs things that cost 3 or less, but Fire Design really turned that downside on its head, right? Like, there's so many pushed cards that are so mana efficient in Magic today that Claim the Firstborn having that downside really just, it doesn't really exist in a lot of situations, and it's just very mana efficient. Yeah, we're living in worlds of 3 mana 5/5s and 6/6s and stuff like that. Fire Design? No. So there was an intentional change in design philosophy at Wizards of the Coast that they dubbed Fire Design at one point. Google Magic Fire Design. There's a Mothership article about it talking through what they intended to change. Fire is an acronym. Alright, looking for some lands. Okay. I'm supposed to do this tapped, actually. I mostly just wanted to fetch before I shuffle here. So if I put this in tapped, I can tap this and cast Mecha Godzilla. And then I get to hold up Squash and Stroke this turn, which is great. Ooh, we nailed the hexproof counter to start. You love to see it. This card's actually been really impressive. Yeah, relevant magic-related links are always welcome in chat. Wrigley, thank you for the 20 months. Thank you for the awesome artwork, by the way, too. Wrigley there in chat is the one responsible for all of our Oglandia Open branding. They did our sick logo. They did all those background images, like what I'm using for my starting soon screen now, too. Heathen, thanks for the 21 months. That's true. For those of you taking notes at home interested in playing Mecha Godzilla, roll hexproof first. The card's much better when you do. Oh yeah, we played some Get Wrong combo in Historic before. Hi, Oshan. Good morning. Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Hope you're having a wonderful... Is it Tuesday? What Thursday is it? It's Tuesday. My children are on spring break this week, so like I'm not keeping track of when they have classes on which days. So that's normally my only tie to like what day of the week it is like when my children have class. First strike. Man, those are some banger rolls. Need Grixis control in Historic a la Bolas and Kroxa. I think, one, it depends on which Bolas you're talking about. So I think if you want to build Grixis in Historic, I would bet that, a more proactively slanted Grixis build is probably better. We had a player, I think it was Alicane. Forgive me if I get the name wrong, but we had a player in the Open over the weekend that was playing like a Knight of the Ebon Legion, slightly more aggressively slanted Grixis build, and I liked what their build was doing a lot. Grixis has a hard time having answers to a lot of different things. And I think having a more proactive slant that lets you run people down when you can't answer their stuff is pretty good. They brought in a Cronin War. Do I want some negates if they're a Cronin warring me? I feel like I do. I feel like there's a chance I want Crush the Weak here as well, because in addition to Skyclave Shade, they've also got Woe Striders. So if we go a little bit more controlling on the draw, we have Crush the Weak and Negate in. How many Giants is this? 14 Giants. A little low on the Giant count. Relocate Gaming, thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. Yep, yeah, the next Oglandia Open, looking forward to spoiler season, kicking up into full swing for the new set. The next Oglandia Open will be in about 3 weeks, and it will be standard right after the new cards drop on Arena. April 8th, the new cards release, a Strixhaven release on Arena on Thursday the 15th. Our Open will be on Saturday the 17th. Yeah, if you check out this page on my website here, you can find deck lists and video coverage of all of the past Oglandia Opens. This is a pretty easy mulligan here. Squash with no Giants is pretty mediocre. I'm going to be greedy and keep this. If we hit a blue source, these are going to find us more lands. Around the draw. So, Jim is going to be back for our May event, which will be Historic again. And I have confirmed that CGB, Covert Go Blue, I believe is what that acronym stands for, will be casting with me for our standard event on the 17th. But I agree, working with Jim was excellent. He's a good dude, and he was a good commentary second. Well, no blue source, but at least we hit our second land, so like, you know, can't be too upset. Play a second Skyclave Shade. Rats. Alright, no village rights. They go white source Soul Sear. We're gonna be in a lot of trouble. That will make up for their mulligan really quickly here, especially with us stumbling. Yeah, so I talked about this a little bit on stream before, and I sent Amy a message letting her know too. So because Cool Stuff Inc. sponsors the tournament, they've put forward an offer to me to pay the salary for my second commentator so long as I use someone who is a Cool Stuff Inc. sponsored player. So moving forward, my second for the Hoaglandia Opens will be a Cool Stuff Inc. sponsored player. A second Cool Stuff Inc. sponsored player. Well, rewarded for waiting on this. Do I want Island? I'm gonna bottom this. We're gonna draw 2 next turn, an extra one from this, and I have Glimpse as well. Yeah, Ali is a Cool Stuff Inc. sponsored player, so he is a possibility. Used to chat with him when I did tour stuff too, so could definitely be someone we can work with at some point in the future if he's open to it. You know, honestly, I think I just want the untapped land here based on our hand. Squash sounds fine. I think that sounds fine. Yeah, it definitely feels like they're just waiting for us to tap out. Have you ever thought about becoming Jeff Googland and wearing googly eyes on stream? Oh, Twitch chat. Yeah, correct, Rhino. Like, I mean, you shouldn't pay people in exposure. I believe in paying people with money, but like exposure still has like some small amount of value. So like when someone like Jim or other people come on the stream, I want them to be able to plug their stuff. I want them to feel like that's something they can do. I'm just passing here. I think they're probably gonna... Oh, they can't escape that. Nah, yeah, let's do this. Huh. Do we just, like, stack up calamities here? Probably not. I think I want to take this other glimpse. Because I think I want to dig towards another Disdainful Stroke or our Negate that we boarded in. I think that there's a good chance we see like an Acronin War happen here based on them sitting on cards in hand. And like, I'm gonna have to stroke an Acronin War. Mad 90s and Capo, thanks for the follows if you're still here. Good morning. Yeah, exactly that, Scabos. Exactly that. I don't think we're quite at a point where... I think we're drawing cards here. Because, like, they're still pretty dead next turn, even from 12, right? Patches! Thank you for the sub-gifts. That's very generous of you. Happy Tuesday. You're having a good one. Do I stroke the Scalds? I feel like I'm supposed to let this resolve. This almost feels like bait. Because if we don't get a Cronin Ward this turn, I feel like we win the game, right? Mr. Tony Avocado, as something of a millennial myself, I do enjoy me some avocados. Right, I appreciate the Bezo bucks. Got a raise, a promotion, a bonus, and now I'm chilling with you following my vaccine. Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, Illinois just announced that vaccines are going to be available to all age groups here. Pretty soonish. So excited for that. Get scheduled to get poked. So this does 4, right? So this is a giant? Really? I guess Stomp doesn't count as a giant. It's fine, nailed it. Man, coffees for closers, chat, and Calamity Bearer and Tech Giant are getting themselves a cup of joe. So, asterisk, the April date for vaccines open for everyone in Illinois is everyone outside of Chicago. So if you live outside of Chicago, check JB Pritzker's last press conference. They announced a date in April where everyone outside of Chicago, Illinois will be eligible to sign up for a vaccine. And I assume Chicago is gonna have it's not messed up at all. It's purely logistical, Bluefire. There are way more. I would encourage you to look at a population density map of the state of Illinois and realize the logistical difference between how many things are available and how many people you can have sign up in different spots in Chicago versus everywhere else. So it's purely a logistical thing. It's the same reason why more sparsely populated states are opening up vaccines to everyone in the state much before more densely populated states like New York and California can. No, it's definitely not available in Chicago for all ages. All of the states are spacing things out different. And I'm not gonna pretend to be a chat. We're not gonna pretend to be logistical experts or understand all the details and nuance that goes into this type of thing. But like, there's a reason why this is happening in the way that it's happening. I have 4 PhDs in logistics. God bless Twitch chat. God bless. All right, this card foretells. As an astronaut lawyer, I am, of course, also a logistical expert. Yeah. Something that's a huge factor too in vaccine distribution, from my understanding, is that these things have a shelf life once they open them too. So, like, you know, once they get them into certain parts of the country, there's an issue where if they're opening in that part of the country for a high-risk group, but that high-risk group doesn't fill all the doses in that spot that they're opening, they don't want them to go to waste, right? So while obviously you want people at high-risk groups to be prioritized first, you also don't want to be throwing product out. Hot BBQ, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to the channel. Jake the Man, thank you for the entire year of support. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Welcome back. Nailed the hexproof on the first roll again here. Again, for those of you taking notes at home, pay attention. I don't think Shatterskull Charger is a very good cartel, Eden. I wish I could be more specific than that, but just like that effect is just not strong compared to the other things you have going on in Standard. We want to just squash this in case they're a henge deck. We have to hold up second squash when they play this other Lovestruck Beast. Vigilance. I have over 5 hours in Civ 6, and therefore I am a logistics expert. Oh, that's a gamer response right there. These Lovestruck Beasts are so squishy, chat. So squishy. Is Kiki Cord dead, and did you discontinue work on that archetype? So I have stopped working on Kiki Cord. That being said, it's not really dead. If you look, there's Yorian builds of Kiki Cord that are going around in Modern, but I personally just don't enjoy the format that Modern has become, so I've stopped playing it. Brisket McBiscuit, what a great Twitch username. Thanks for the follow. It did not. We got Menace on this one. This one rolled hexproof. This one got Menace. We're very unlucky, chat. This one only got Menace. I would love to find... Let's fetch here before we put more cards at the bottom. We'd love to find our 5-mana saga here, huh? Clear this board out. It's an invasion. That's a tech. Have I played any Modern since the beginnings of this year? No, I have no desire to play a format of Magic where Teferi Time Raveler is legal. Tech lets us 3/3 for 5/5. I don't understand what those words mean. Well, the rest of their board would get hit by the Saga, and this has Menace. I think I'm going to take the Invasion here. And then... honestly, just another one? We're looking for ways to clean the board out here at this point. Reach. Second hexproof. You'll love to see it. Metal Pale, good morning. That's pretty scary. They don't have any lands. It's good for us. The Battle of Frost and Fire, chat. It was a great battle. Look at these very menacing giants we have, chat. Look at our menacing giants. Yes, this is standard. Format is in the stream title. No blocks, so you're dead? Because these both have menace. Oh, not quite. They're at 11. This will be +2. I get to scry 3. Yep. The giants have invaded and won the battle, chat. To set an incredibly low bar, this deck has been way more competitive than I was expecting it to be. I pulled this from a MTG Melee tournament result. I wasn't expecting a lot going in, but it's been super reasonable. This especially has been good. These two together. Glimpse has also been powerful, like I expected it to be. See, I need some help. Got a scry land on the draw, though. I think we'll take that. What's my favorite deck in Hoots? My caster's choice pick. So Jim picked the Mutate deck. So he kind of dibs that one. But I really liked, there was a Blue-Red Phoenix deck that I loaded up a variation of that will probably have a deck voting later this week for historic stuff. Alright, well, no land for them means that our kind of clunky hand here is not going to get punished. Both shufflers aren't rigged this matchup. I mean, to be fair, we had card selection and they didn't. You know what I hate, chat? I hate the weak. We must crush them. Yeah, definitely isn't taught. That sounds sweet. Nice one. Congrats. To set a low bar, however bad you think this card is, it's slightly better than that. I promise that however bad you think Mechagodzilla is, it's not quite that bad. Hey, thanks for the 25 months, Fuji. It's been a long march. I'm not done yet. I want to take a look at this. Think about what we have going on for a second. This card's been only okay. I want the last squash in the main deck. Exactly what I wanted to in the sideboard. I have one more slot. Okay, we can play another Crush a week. This has been pretty good against the adventure decks. We could play a Soul Sear. I don't hate that. It's like a 5th Lovestruck Beast answer, and it gives us a cheeky 1-of to answer Toski. That sounds fine. Shadow Spear could be okay too. Yeah, we talked about that. I'll play the Soul Sear. Soul Sear's a fine card. You bring in Soul Sear against any Lovestruck Beast deck and be pretty content with it. We're going to play 1 or 2 more with this deck, and then we're going to roll on into some mono black artifacts in Historic. Move it. Thanks for the follow. Good morning. Green black rock is doable in Historic. Probably not. Maybe if you make it appropriately aggressively slanted, something could be okay. Yeah, our second 2 decks today are both going to be Historic. We're going to do Mono Black Mud, and then we're going to do viewer deck voting for the second one. You're new to Historic and you build Goblins. Goblins actually hasn't been that popular in recently in Historic. Red, white. Like with the 1-drop out of them, I can bottom Battle of Frost and Fire here. Master Beardspin, thanks for the 13 months. Good morning, good morning. Once we get Tireless Tracker, I'll be exploring Green Black Rock and Historic for sure. I feel like until we get Tireless Tracker, it's probably going to be a tough sell. Oh, you know what? Small mistake here on my land sequencing. I should have played the Mountain, because if I would have played the Mountain, I would have been able to Calamity Bearer, like, plus Stomp next turn if I draw another land. Oh, they're playing Cycling, sure. Okay, so let's step on... Hold on, I want to kill this for sure. And then we can play this for 1. Delver of Secrets is from the original Innistrad deck, so Delver will not be guaranteed coming to Historic. Although I really hope Delver gets an inclusion a la Historic Anthology sometime soon. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. This card's pretty good against us. Must squash it like bug. I take the guaranteed land, because then next turn I can Stomp plus Calamity Bearer. Eternal Witness would be great. Collected Company creature decks would love them some E-Witness. Ooh, I don't know that we're going to be in a position to beat a second Pyromancer. It's pretty scary. Calamity Bearer notably does not double up damage from Bonecrusher Giant Stomp. This is another matchup where that Soul Sear we put in the sideboard is going to be useful. To bring it in to kill these. Getting kind of punished for taking that 6th land. We do have them dead in 2 to Quakebringer triggers with the Calamity Bearer and the Stomp those, so... I didn't attack here because I didn't want them to cycle twice and then be able to kill this with a block plus the trigger. I don't actually know the answer to that, Dontron. I think so. This means their single cycle lets this happen. I think we're gonna die here. Unchecked Ironcrag Pyromancer ends the game very, very quickly. Alright. We could dodge a Zenith Flare, we could dodge a ball. Yeah, 5 mana Saga would have been really good here. All of these cycle except one, so they're at 8 in there. You think we're dead? I mean, the fact that they killed my Calamity Bearer would imply the opposite, right? We could still die here, but I would assume based on the fact that they elected to kill my creature instead of doming me for 6 that we're probably not dead. Morning, Mr. Butterfly. Oh, the Quakebringer flavor text. Oh, they can cycle and kill us at upkeep though, right? Yeah. Really close game, huh? Really close game. They probably didn't have the Zenith Flare when they did that. Yeah. Maybe we should have some graveyard hate in our sideboard. People, when I was playing the cycling deck a lot on stream, people always asked what its worst matchup was, and no joke, the cycling's deck worst matchup is sideboard cards. Its only bad matchup is graveyard hate. Probably want some negates here. It's like a slightly less offensive version of Dredge. Is a good TLDR. Honestly. The cycling really sideboard much? I don't understand your question. Like, do they change much in their deck? Usually only 3 or 4 cards at most. They are like a core engine style deck. Its worst matchups are itself and sideboard cards. I don't even know that I'd really say it has a bad matchup against itself, Wappajack. The cycling deck basically has like 20 plus cards that 1 mana cycle, so, or 1 mana draw cards, so you're hyper consistent. Yeah. Yeah, at most, good cycling players aren't changing that much. So obviously this hand needs a giant, but I've got a scry and a look for 3. So pretty decent chance of finding one. And our redraws can find redraws. Yo, dog. Yeah, I mean, obviously in Magic, every deck can lose to itself, but like, unlike a deck like Dredge, for example, that usually has to mulligan very aggressively and sometimes just mulligans to oblivion because of that, the cycling deck doesn't really have that experience. The range of keepable hands in the cycling deck is really large because it's very consistent. It's going well, Monster Man. Happy Tuesday. Didn't roll hexproof, chat. I apologize for my lack of professionalism. The fact that the skins have their extra text break in this application now is so annoying. Alright, let's enter combat and see what we get here. Still no hexproof. Unlucky. Okay, so I didn't play Calamity Bearer here because I want to hold up Squash, so that way when my opponent goes Ironcrag Pyromancer Cycle next turn, I can respond by squashing it. I agree that the evolution of the cycling deck to play Ironcrag Pyromancer is the better variation at this point. Pyromancer is another card that gives you extra play against sideboard, Graveyard Hate as well, which is nice. Looking for lands at this point. Well, I mean, technically. There's that hexproof. Alright, so with rolling hexproof on this, I think I actually just do this now. Since I don't need to hold up Squash to kill a thing, and like, what's it called isn't really happening this turn. Zenith Flare. It is almost 3-mana dig through time, isn't it? Not quite, but it's like pretty adjacent. Yeah, rolling trample there is nice too. Good morning, hostiles. They don't have an untapped land here. They're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, so like now I get to crush the weak and then get in here. Honestly, we could just kill them this turn, right? We like crush the weak and then we drop this Calamity Bearer. Red Cap melee. Okay. We could get punished for my being aggressive. Red Cap is definitely not a card I was playing around. I just assumed their priority was for a cycling card. Fully Mecha Godzilla is ready to run away with the game here. Our Negate stopping us from getting punked out by Zenith Flare should be a big deal too. We have First Strike, Reach, Hexproof, Trample, Menace. We're playing against the non-Luris build of it. Yeah, this card's actually been, like, pretty impressive in the games that we've played so far today. Okay, I think I might be the hardboarder. Let's run it back. Bonecrusher is just lethal. They could have let First Strike happen, and then, they could have let First Strike happen, and then, Red Cap melee'd the Bonecrusher Giant. See, it just doesn't do anything for too long. Yeah, it seems really good. What am I cutting for Mystic Dispute, T-Master Ray? What card that's currently in my deck do you think is worse than Mystic Dispute? You don't dispute over Negate? Completely disagree. The one card that really matters in this matchup that I want to counterspell is Zenith Flare. And there's going to be a lot of situations like this, especially on the draw, where this just comes down. I think Dispute is much worse than Negate in this matchup. Hexproof. Alright, they go land into Pyromancer, Psycho, or just dead. The alliances aren't so much an issue as Giant dying is. We can get Giant online. It could be okay. We have 4 sweepers in our deck, so like them getting tokens isn't strictly the end of the world. This also rolled Reach to start, so that's nice. I feel like I can't afford to just hold up Squash this turn, and I need to play. I need to play a threat out. I have a Red Cap melee here, just a Cycler. Just a Cycler, got this. Red Cap melee is actually really great against us. That's a card I haven't seen a lot of in Standard, because it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad in general, I think. I guess it's good against Cycling and Mono Red. Maybe the fact that Cycling's playing Ironcrag Pyromancer means that the stock in Red Cap has gone up. I suppose I can see that. I think there's a good chance that that attack means they have startling development, so I'm gonna go ahead and just let it happen. We are unfortunately in a position without a counterspell here where we're going to be pretty cold to Zenith player this game. Hey, thanks for the entire year, 10 under. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. Probably going to be forced to call the startling development here, huh? The good news is we get 5 looks at a sweeper next turn. We get a draw step and then 2 triggers off of these. Yeah, I should have just blocked last turn. They were just throwing away a token to deal 2. Loose on my part. Alright, and Negate's not bad if we find a crush the week here. Okay. Okay, and them going to block everything like this here would imply that they're not able to counterspell this, which is good for us. That being said, we could see end step cycle kill us with Zenith player here, because I unfortunately can't hold the gate up. Hey Locke, thanks for 19 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Helping Birdie redistribute some of that Bezos, buddy. God bless. Ten cards and they all cycle. You have Flare? No Zenith Flare is a big deal. Scry 3. Another Negate. We're definitely putting the land on the bottom. The question is, do I want a Negate to draw? I don't want another Tech Giant, I don't think. I'm going to be casting this Glimpse because I lose it this turn otherwise. So do I want a Negate to grab with this Glimpse? Probably a fine safety net. Lifelink is the best sit on this for sure. Well, the third chapter on this is basically just blank in this deck. Whenever you cast a spell that costs 5 or greater, draw 2, discard 1. Basically, don't have any cards that meet that requirement. Wow, what is in their hand that's their play for the turn? That's gotta bode well for us. If we can hit lifelink on this, I think we can win this game with the negates here. Oh, Squash technically qualifies. That's true. I forgot about that. Huh. You know what? I'm gonna cast a Shatterstone. Shatterskull Smashing. First Strike, Hexproof, Death Touch, Trample, Menace, Reach. Still no lifelink. So I'm not squashing this here in response because they could just cycle another card in response, and I need to hold up Negate for Zenith Flare. Yeah, we don't have Vigilance either. We've actually just like, other than Hexproof, we're missing the keywords that we care about. Oh, never lucky. Yeah. We played a little bit of Grixis Giants at the very start of the season. At this rate, we're gonna get a bandit counter before we get a lifelink counter. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, it feels like we're just gonna getting a little Hearthstone to this game. Our RNG card just not working out anywhere near how we need it to. Also only having one of our 4 sweepers in the top 40 cards of our deck wasn't very good for us. How many cards are we through at this point? We've bottomed. Good lord. We've bottomed 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. We bottomed. So we're through over 40 cards, and we only had 1 Battle of Frost and Fire and 0 of the other cards we care about. Has to be lifelink. Even then, it's not enough. We hit Vigilance. Alright, we're dead, right? We're just dead to the flying creatures. I think with slightly better RNG, we win this game 100% of the time. If we would have hit Vigilance, honestly, even if we would have hit Vigilance earlier, being able to apply a bit of pressure would have allowed us to play the game out in a little bit different way, but the lack of Vigilance and lifelink there meant we just weren't able to get it in stabilize. Can you explain banding to the Zoomers at home? I can't. Google it. I didn't play when that was a mechanic. Honestly, overall, this deck felt a lot better than I was expecting it to. Quakebringer was kind of a mediocre card. It was like okay in some spots. This core of 16 Giants felt pretty reasonable though, especially when you consider the fact that we have both Invasion of the Giants and Glimpse of the Cosmos here to provide some card selection. So I might look to replace these with something else. I don't know exactly what offhand, but like these are the slots that definitely felt weakest in what we had going on here. But Tech Giant plus Calamity Bearer especially was a 1-2 combo that felt like it closed a lot faster than I was expecting it to, being able to like attack for 12 basically, half of which is unblockable, is really strong.